So, good afternoon and welcome to an insightful session on defining success with Major General Ashok Sheoran. Besides being a second generation army officer, Major General Sheoran has achieved many feats, including commanding an armored division, overseeing military operations, and representing high level government delegations for sensitive talks with other nations. Post his military career, he successfully set up and ran a 60-ton agro-based industrial facility for fruit ripening called White Knight Logistics. Major General Sheoran has dedicated his life to creating, perfecting, and fostering a culture of getting things done. He has structured a coaching program called Combat Ready, which embodies the Army Way management philosophy. This is a novel coaching method that uses lessons from war and life to motivate people and organizations to advance in real world situations. That's not all. Major General Sheoran is also the founder of White Knight Creations, a film production company based in Gurgaon, where he continues to produce and write feature films. Two of his short film projects have released on the OTT platforms, and he's awaiting the release of his third feature film. Hello, sir, and I'm so excited to begin this session with you. And also, we'll take up a few questions at the end of today's session. So you could write down your questions in the chat box. So to begin with, sir, how does one really define success? What do we understand by success? What is success?
Thank you so much, Nita. You've given a very glowing introduction. I was listening to it in rapt attention myself. Okay. Actually, when you're defining success, literally speaking, it talks about achievement of a certain goal or an aim. In common parlance, when we talk about it among people, we look upon it as having achieved a certain status, maybe some kind of financial benchmark, some kind of feat, a victory, some major accomplishment. But when you look at it, none of these actually cover the human and personal angle of success, or actually defining success. So now you look at it, success would actually come under three distinct headings as per my understanding of success. There will be success in the workplace. There is success in your personal life. And last, more important is, what does success mean to a person eventually? So they are actually three distinct headings.
So, sir, moving on, in actual practice, what are the nuances attached to the meaning of success in the sense that it's very interesting, but can you really elaborate that? What do you mean by success at work, a personal life? I mean, how is it really different?
Okay, that's interesting. In fact, that got built on to the next step. When you look at success at the workplace, is, say you are in a structured organization, any one with a hierarchy, it's easily identifiable by your rank, where you are, and your age. So by and large, one gets to know where you belong. If you are totally independent or you're in a creative field, your success is actually what you perceive, how you value yourself. And how you value yourself is how others value you. That is when you are in a totally independent field of work. Now coming on to, say, success in personal life, which I feel is actually the most important. It could be anything that you set your heart to achieve. Say something creative. You want to paint and you've done some painting for the first time. You want to write, or you write a poem. You're in the sports field and you send some mark for yourself, say in high jump or long jump or javelin. You have a disability, you overcome it to achieve something. You have an addiction, you overcome it. Anything that gives you personal joy is actually success. So that part is very important.
Right, I completely resonate with that, sir. So, like you said, achieving any milestones. So, does that mean achieving your goals, because obviously that's how the society really looks at success, that if you achieve this, then you are successful. If you achieve that, you're successful. But from my own life, I could share, sir, that I had an accident, and
Okay.
yeah, and in fact, about 6, 7 months ago, and I fractured my neck of femur bone,
Wow,
and
that's bad.
that was very bad. And I
That's
was
bad.
actually alone in the house at about 11 o'clock in the night, and there was nobody around, and I fractured my femur bone. So I kind of managed to crawl from the bathroom till the door. I don't know how I did it, but I felt that at that moment when I was really able to overcome, I mean, that fear and just do whatever was needed. I did not really succumb to the fear, and I was able to take action. I was calm and composed. That moment for me kind of somewhere I thought defined success, because I kind of, it was a do or die situation because I was alone. So I had to do something to reach out and ask for help. So I felt that that defining moment wherein I decided to do whatever it takes to not succumb to the situation, that kind of defines success. So, sir, would you want to elaborate on this as well?
I think that's a very, very nice example. And it's something both we don't recognize that when you achieve something in a phase of adversity, it is actually success. And it must be recognized as such. And if we look at, say, success in a philosophical manner, it all comes down to what are you looking for. Now, this is something which has not really defined as such. There's a lot of research on this subject. Recently, we had an article in the Mint where they spoke about what people want. And the majority want happiness and respect. There's another research carried out in 2010 where that identified that making more than a certain amount of money
Right.
does not lead to happiness. It's a law of diminishing returns. That is, once you plateaued out, more money not going to give you more happiness. So if you look at a defining feature of success and you say, okay, what are you looking at in life? Everybody is eventually looking for a state of happiness, what I would rather call contentment, because happiness will come, joy will come and go. You're
Right.
looking at a state of contentment and good health, status in society where you're looked upon with respect. So that is actually the way where everyone is headed. And that is the way one should look at it in a totally philosophical way. You say, okay, what do you mean by success and which way are we going?
Right. So, sir, people strive for money and status as they are perceived to be yardsticks for success. That is a societal way of looking at success. So, what is really your take on this?
See, what happens is it all depends on how you look at money. Now, I am from a totally services background, totally army background. And our idea of money is very different from what anybody else would probably think of. If you look at money as a mean to an end, after all, you say you're earning money. Why are you earning it? You're earning it for sustenance, comfort. You're looking at it for dignity in your years and to lead a life on your own terms. Supposing theoretically you take away the money part and everything given to you in kind, you need the money. Actually, you don't. You're talking about, say, certain institutions, say a judge, any judge of any seniority. Look at the status and respect he carries. Emoluments won't match up anywhere. So sometimes there's actually no linkage in practical terms between the two. Money will take you up to a certain point. Yes. But won't take you beyond a certain point. Definitely don't give you happiness. But happiness is something intrinsic. It's something that is inside you. It is a self-actualization. So the linkage between money, status, and then in turn, success actually breaks down after a certain point.
Right, right, sir. So I also feel that the societal pressure and the peer pressure has a lot to do with the, defining a person's idea of success, because it could be possible that my definition of success is very different. But then when I look at my friends and I look at them, they're doing better than me in the so-called societal way of defining success, I can kind of lose my self-worth and confidence. So what do you feel about that, the comparison culture?
It's a very important point you put across. In fact, uh, I'm interacting with hordes of people, young people basically, and many of them. And the kind of pressure they are under is unbelievable. And the pressure that young people feel is created by society and social media. That means everybody else is setting a yardstick for you.
Right.
So actually from a young age, people get very constrained, right, into an artificial box. They don't let anyone flower out. You do what you love, what you're good at, to realize your talent. So actually it's a very stunted growth. It's only later on as you get on in life that you realize your innate talent. I mean, just as a personal example, I started making movies just 3 years back. I'm on to my 4th one now. I started now, recently. So the thing is not that probably it was an inherent talent. I don't know. The fact remains that society must not be able to lay down your benchmarks for yourself.
Right.
You person has to evolve and see what's best for them. I know it's a very romantic notion to say you must sort of do the work that you love. And if you do the work you love, actually you don't work because you're doing what you love, right? Now, that notion may not really pan out in real life. You have to work for a living, to earn, to get the degree of sustenance and comfort. But that does not stop you from the hours beyond work to live life the way you want. Now, that is the choice that you make. So while society may put certain benchmarks on you and try and put you in some kind of a box that, okay, you are successful only if you've done this, only if you've got this kind of car, this kind of house, this kind of lifestyle. That definition, it should not bow you down. A person must define their own idea of success.
Right.
And that is extremely important.
Right. So, Major General Sheoran, any specific methodology that one can, adapt to achieve success in a certain field?
Yeah, actually, this is a full subject by itself, which I do cover as to how to evolve aims, goals in life. So I'll put it in a nutshell. Firstly, I think is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
A person must know himself or herself. What are your attributes? What are your traits? What are your talents? Right? Having done that, then you come on to what are aims in life. Now, this is very important. Which way are you headed? I mean, what are you like a person? What do you want? So some people may just want to do things that they enjoy and they love. Some people may want money and status. Some may be much more family oriented. Some may have what you call binding factors. Because of certain constraints, you cannot do certain things. So you have to stay within that boundary. Now, those boundaries are imposed, say, by the environment, and not of your making. So it is once you understand these boundaries and you come to terms with what you are, and then you evolve your aim, goals, and objectives. Objectives are short run. For example, let's say theoretically, I set my mind that by the age of 40 or 45, I want to be with some multinational abroad. I am now 18 or 20. So now I decide what college should I go to, where should I get an internship, should I study abroad? If I study abroad, where should I study abroad? Once I get that work permit, where do I work? How long do I work? Do I come back or not? So these are the things which are, so you evolve options, okay, to achieve my aim. What are the options that are coming up? From the options, you select the one that suits you the best. And then you make a plan. And then you action that plan. And as you go along, you modify. So trying to achieve your aims and objectives, to achieve your kind of success, you must follow a step-by-step approach. But in all this, one must remember that, as I always say, life is a journey, right? So one must enjoy each step of it. It is not like, okay, I'm 20 and now I will only be successful at 45. Every small success along the way must be acknowledged and celebrate it. And that part is very important. So let me ask you a counter question.
Sure, sure.
How do you think a person must recognize and handle success? I mean, okay, I met so many people in the mid 40s, 50s, doing very well in life, even 60s. But I still sense, there is some disappointment with them, like they have a lot more to achieve. How do you feel a person must handle success at each stage?
So I think that it's very important to validate yourself, because when we are always, because we criticize ourselves all the time, that comes very naturally to us.
Yeah, that's a
It's
fact.
very
Yeah.
easy to criticize ourselves and criticize others. But what's very important is to really validate ourselves. So whenever, you achieve even a small goal, it's important to pat your back, and it's important to celebrate. Like as you just mentioned, it's important to celebrate those, small victories, no matter what the size of the victories along the way. Also, I feel that it's important to stay grounded, because often what happens is, if I really wanted something and I achieve it, oh, I'm in la la land, so it's very important to stay grounded and to, I
Yes.
think, surround yourself with friends, people, family who can do a reality check for you and tell you that fine, you've achieved this, but life is full of ups and downs. So it's very important to stay rooted and celebrate whatever successes are coming along the way and whatever is happening in your journey. And any points that you would like to share, sir, in this regard?
Yeah, no, you covered it very well. In fact, the first part of what you said is exactly what I believe is that every success must be acknowledged and celebrated, no matter how small it is, because that is what life is all about. So unless you live that success, unless you handle it, and then temper your aims and ambitions accordingly, that part is very important. That you accept where you are, right? Accepted with a sense of satisfaction and contentment that, okay, I've reached here, I achieved this. Now, all the examples I gave earlier, it could be anything. And then you take the next step. And I think it's also very important to identify the philosophy that I have inherited is that you keep your ambition at such a way which gives you personal happiness. Because beyond a certain level, striving for something may not give the desired result commensurate the effort you put in. You must learn to live life to the hilt, enjoy each day, each week, each month. Because every day of your life is actually leading towards an ultimate destination, right? Now, acknowledging everything as you go along is very, very important. Otherwise, you spend all your life just striving, and then you reach a certain point and you look back and say, oh, where have all these years gone? And then you forget, okay, then you realize, okay, I did this. And so when it's time to celebrate the success, tend to gloss it over. So I think that is the way I think one should look at it. Uh, I think that part is very important.
Correct, correct. So we've had a very, very insightful, interesting, and illuminating discussion. So, in a nutshell, can you define success for all our participants?
Okay. Uh, so we are looking at, say, first of all, defining success to yourself. It's very individualistic. Since it is based on so many perceptions, so much subjectivity, right? Uh, you have to evolve your own idea of success. You cannot benchmark it to what society or peers or social media tells you. Set realistic goals. And having achieved certain level benchmark, learn to live with that happiness given to you at that level. Formulate proper plans to try and achieve your ambition in a structured manner. Go about it. And having achieved something, be happy and content where you are. But at the same time, at any given moment, no matter how old you are, you must retain a sense of passion and purpose in your life. There's always something to look forward to. But at the same time, you are grounded, you're content, you're happy. I think that's the way to look at this. So I just hope that I managed to convey to the audience that what success can be about if you look at it in a very different kind of. Now we can take on any questions if there are.
Yes, we have a question from Soumya, and the question is, how can we turn our failures into learning experiences that lead to success?
So that's a nice one. Actually, what one is terming as failure is failure in a given perspective. I would rather call it as an experience. Like they say in the riding circles, you don't become a rider till you've fallen thrice. When you are cadets in NDA, the Ustad would say, fall thrice, and the third time should be off a galloping horse. Only then do you qualify as a rider. So frankly, unless you've gone through a series of setbacks and failures, you will not be able to withstand bigger shocks as you go along. It's a very, very major learning process. So actually, one should not look at it as a failure. You say, okay, this happened. This is where I could have done it better. This is what I have learned. And you come back stronger and swifter. So it should be used as a building experience. I think that is the way to look at so-called failures in life.
Vatsal has a question. So, how can I solve my habit of procrastination? I think that's a very relevant question, applies to me also.
Yeah, actually applies to most of us. Applies to almost all of us. When you talk about procrastination, it's actually about prioritization. You tend to put off the difficult task for later and take on the easier ones, right? That is human nature. There are two ways of doing this. First, accept it that there is a major task which has to be done. Bite the bullet. And in that major task, do it step by step. Don't take on the entire load at one time. Say you want to write a book.
Yeah.
You keep putting it off every day. I'll write it tomorrow. I'll write it tomorrow. So you want to write it. Take out a pen and paper. Take out your pad. Just write down an outline. Start with 2 lines. Put it aside. You want to start exercising, and every day, okay, tomorrow, day after, right? Start with a short walk. So that is how it works up. That in your list of priorities, what you are pushing to the side, to the background, firstly accept that that has to be done. And the best way to do it is do it one step at a time. Gradually warm up to that task till you get it out of the way, because it's going to keep niggling you. So the only way is put it up in your priority. Don't let it overwhelm you and handle it in a step-by-step approach.
Right. There's another question which has come up, that what are the various attributes of success according to you that applies into every field? So the commonalities basically, like the formula of success.
Actually, there is no formula for success. There is no set formula for anyone. Like I covered, success is what you identify with. That is what is your idea of success? Say I am in the sports field, okay, and I want to run a certain distance, say 5 kilometer run in a certain time. These are my benchmarks. That at the age of 18, I'll run it in so many minutes. By the time I'm 21, by the time I'm 24, by the time I'm 28. Now you're setting a certain thing. Now that is my benchmark. I benchmark it to myself. I have not laid down anything in monetary terms or anything. I have not. Or say somebody is an artist and you say, all right, I'm doing one painting every 3 months. And after 4 years, I would have an exhibition. That 4 years will become 6 years. Yes, fine. But you set your heart on doing something. So it's a very personalized thing. And once you do that exhibition, you must celebrate. Okay, I set myself a benchmark of, say, achieving this in so much time.
Right.
And I have achieved it. So that is important. So there is no set formula. The aim, like I give you give down your aim, goals, resources where you want to go. and you make a plan to go towards it, right? Having achieved a certain benchmark, you are successful. Then don't again go into the theory of relativity that, okay, so and so is here, like you have a school reunion.
Ah,
Say
that's a big
after
one.
20 years are the most dreaded experiences the world over.
Yeah.
Say the 20th reunion, everybody is 40. Now look at it. I mean, there are books and books, there are movies on this, where some people dread it, and some people are just waiting to get there to gloat. Because now the person who come to gloat has come because he wants everyone to admire him, right? He
Yes.
wants validation. He wants validation from his friends, from his peers. The guy who's not made it in that perceived notion of success is actually dreading it. Now, the guy who's dreading it is the person or girl, whoever, must recognize that where you are is where you are, and if you are happy, no one can take it away. So no
Correct.
one give you happiness, no one can take away happiness. And that has to be recognized. So it's very important to first formulate your own thoughts and ideas of what you mean by success.
Like, I would like to ask a question on behalf of a very dear friend that she is very gifted. She has a lot of talents. She's very good with audio content. She's very good with cooking. She's a baker. But the problem is she's very confused in life. So I think, and that is something which many youngsters will also resonate with, that, you have many directions and many
Right.
choices that you could make, but you just don't know which road to walk on.
You are right.
So, what would you suggest for someone who is stuck in life because
I
of
think
too
that's
many
a very
choices or
good,
too many talents?
yeah, very nice question, Nita, because there are so many young people who I'm interacting with, where, I actually bring out the other side. There are people who are on the financial line, but they're extremely creative. They write very well, they speak very well, etc. Right? So I asked a very simple question that, okay, where do you see yourself 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line? What would you be doing? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself in some corner office working, say, 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day? Where do you perceive yourself? Where do you think you should be doing? Out of all your talents, the one that you're really good at, does that sustain you? Will that sustain you? Say someone is good at cooking and you want to open a restaurant, but do you have the wherewithal to open a restaurant? So now you come on to two separate things. One is where you're working for a living for sustenance and comfort.
Right.
And other is where you're doing something you enjoy and love. All right.
Yes.
So you come
Yeah.
to what I started right in the beginning. You come to aim in life. Now, if you do what you love and you enjoy, say, baking and cooking, or you're artistic, it may not give you the payoff or the money for sustenance. And if you carry on with your work and sustenance, you may not have the time for doing what you love. But that is the challenge, what life is all about. Life is all about contradictions, unpredictability, handling challenges, right? And now moderating and modifying your view. So my advice would be that out of the various talents that she has, which are the ones that she loves most and she's good at. And should she pursue that, will it in a certain time frame, which is acceptable to her, give her the kind of finances which can sustain her? And if it doesn't, can she pick up something and do something to financially sustain while pursuing the love? I think that is what I would call an ideal mix.
Right.
So utopian is doing what you love and making a lot of money. What is worse, you're just working, and never in your life doing what you like and enjoy. And the middle path would be select a job in such a way that you get sufficient time to do what you love. And at any given time in life, one must have the capability of switching. So many have done it. There are so many people who have switched. I mean, even halfway through very illustrious careers and taken on something very adventurous, risky, and made it very big. I mean, there are numbers and numbers of case studies on that. So I think that is one way of looking at it.
That was very interesting. And in fact, I found a lot of answers also through that example. There's another question: is age is just a number, according to you, in the context of success?
Absolutely. I think age is what you perceive, what you feel. I mean, you have Khwaja saying at 112, he
Yes.
just ran, right? And he was running marathon till the age of 100. He walked 100 yards with youngsters, I think a few days back at the age of 112, just to prove a point.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get at is that age is what you feel. Right? It could be anything. I mean, there are a number of studies, there are a number of websites in UK universities, where you feed in all your medical profile, physical profile, emotional profile, honestly. So you'll have a age, which is a biological marker, or your calendar age, and one is your physical age. You can be off at 20 years. So you may be, as per your calendar, say 60 years old, but physically you may be at 40, or vice versa. So I feel that age, look at Clint Eastwood. I mean, he was going till 90, he was directing, writing, producing film, nothing. So you can go defunct at a very young age. You can be 50 and be very old. Mentally, yeah, you can be very unfit, very old, depressed, bored. You can be 90 and be flourishing. So I don't think age has anything to do with either success or happiness. It is what you are, what you feel, what you perceive. Right? That part is very important. There are lots of examples with me. My friends, my coach mates, going great guns in their 70s and 80s. So, and again, we come to the conclusion, it's all in your mind.
It's so inspiring to even look at you, Major General Sheoran. So thank you so much. That was very, very inspiring. And I
Thank you so
completely
much.
agree that actually age is just a number, and it's all about having a youthful spirit.
That's right.
That's most important.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more.
So yes, in conclusion, if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed with a particular issue in your life, don't hesitate to reach out to a professional life coach. Ashok Sheoran, a skilled life coach, is available to offer one-to-one coaching sessions and provide the support and guidance you need to move forward. His website, Ashok Sheoran coach. I'll just spell it out as well. The spelling is ASHOKSHEORAN.coach. Provides all the necessary details to get in touch with him and schedule a session. So don't let challenges hold you back from living the life you want. Take the first step towards a more fulfilling life by seeking the help of a trusted life coach like Major General Ashok Sheoran. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Nita.
Thank you.
Thank you all those who participated today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All the best to all of you.
Thank you.